Massachusetts B2B SEO Guide. Why Massachusetts B2B SEO is a sales advantage, not a marketing nice to have. If you sell B2B in Massachusetts, you're competing in a market where buyers are informed, skeptical, and fast to validate or disqualify vendors. Whether you're targeting biotech leaders in Cambridge, SaaS teams along Route 128, or industrial operators in Worcester, your prospects aren't relying on vendor claims. They're researching and comparing options. In practice, that means your search presence becomes part of your sales process long before anyone replies to an email. SEO is where that research starts. Roughly 71% of B2B buyers begin their journey with a Google search, and many run a dozen-plus queries before they ever land on a vendor site. If you don't show up for the early problem searches and the mid-funnel vendor searches, you're not in the evaluation set. You're invisible. That's especially costly in Massachusetts, where high-value niches are tightly clustered and competitors are aggressive. At SalesHive, we see the downstream effect every day. Prospects who receive outbound messages often Google the company immediately, and your rankings, reviews, and content shape whether they respond. Done right, SEO doesn't replace outbound. It makes outbound more credible and more efficient. This guide breaks down a Massachusetts-aware B2B SEO approach that's built to create pipeline, not just traffic. The Massachusetts market reality: dense niches, high stakes, and high intent. Massachusetts is packed with B2B demand, but it's not evenly distributed. It's concentrated in specialized clusters. The state has about 697,585 small businesses employing roughly 1.5 million people, and small businesses generate about $9.1 billion in exports, nearly 30% of the state's exports. That's a huge addressable base for suppliers, consultants, software providers, and outsourced services, if you align to how buyers actually search. Life sciences is the clearest example of why generic SEO fails here. The Massachusetts biopharma sector employs nearly 117,000 workers and accounted for about 17% of statewide job growth in 2023, while Greater Boston hosts 1,000-plus biotechnology companies, with more than 250 in Cambridge alone. In markets like this, the winners aren't ranking for broad terms. They're ranking for the specific compliance, validation, lab operations, and procurement language buyers use. This is also why ranking is a sales problem, not just a marketing metric. Massachusetts buyers are surrounded by options and vendor noise, so they use search to filter ruthlessly. Your job is to show up with relevance, the right topics, proof, case studies, reviews, credibility signals, and clarity. A page that makes the next step obvious. How B2B SEO actually drives pipeline in Massachusetts. The biggest misunderstanding we see is teams treating SEO like a content treadmill instead of a revenue channel. The reason SEO performs so well in B2B is simple. It captures demand that already exists. About 76% of traffic to B2B websites comes from search engines, so the compounding effect is real. Every strong page becomes an always-on entry point to your pipeline. ROI is another reason sales leaders should care. Across industries, SEO has been reported to deliver an average 825% ROI over 3 years, with B2B SaaS around 702%, which is hard to match with paid channels that reset the moment you stop spending. In a competitive state like Massachusetts, SEO also reduces CAC indirectly by improving close rates, because educated prospects arrive with context and higher intent. The practical takeaway is to plan SEO around real buying journeys. You want coverage for problem searches, early, solution comparison searches, middle, and vendor validation searches, late. When we pair that visibility with an SDR agency motion, calling, email, and tight follow-up, you don't just get more leads, you get more conversations with the right accounts. Execution fundamentals. technical health, on-page relevance, and trust signals. Start with the unglamorous parts because they quietly kill performance. If Google can't crawl and index your important pages reliably, or your site is slow on mobile, your best content won't rank. We recommend a quarterly technical check focused on indexation. Are key service and case study pages indexed? Page speed, duplicate pages, and anything that creates thin or redundant URLs. Next, on-page SEO. Speak your buyer's language literally. Massachusetts B2B keywords are often long-tail and specific. Think compliance, integrations, regional implementation, or niche vertical workflows. So you don't need massive volume to win. You need precision. Each core page should target one primary theme, use clear titles and headings, and answer the query fully so a Boston or Cambridge buyer thinks they understand our environment, not this is generic marketing copy. Finally, build trust signals that matter in Massachusetts. Credible case studies, recognizable client logos, detailed team bios, and third-party validation. One strong proof point can beat a dozen vague claims. For example, a Boston-based B2B PR firm documented a 202% increase in organic traffic and a 58% increase in organic form submissions after a focused SEO program. That's the kind of evidence that helps both rankings and conversions. In Massachusetts, the fastest way to lose a deal is to make prospects work hard to understand what you do, who you serve, and why you're credible. Local and regional SEO. How to win Boston, Cambridge, Worcester, and beyond. Many B2B teams underestimate local SEO because they associate it with restaurants and retail. But local intent is a major part of search behavior. Roughly 46% of Google searches have local intent, and about 76% of people who search for something nearby visit a related business within 24 hours. For Massachusetts firms, that can translate into high-intent searches like Boston Service Agency, Cambridge Niche Consulting, or Massachusetts Industry Partner. Your Google business profile and broader local footprint should support how real prospects vet you. That includes accurate categories, a clear description tied to the industries you serve, consistent NAP information, and reviews that mention outcomes and context. Even if you sell statewide or nationally, a strong regional presence can be the difference between looks legit and not sure they're real. A common mistake is spinning up location pages that say the same thing with different city names. Instead, build region-specific pages only where you can add real substance, local compliance considerations, on-site delivery realities, partner ecosystems, or Massachusetts-specific case studies. When prospects search for a B2B sales agency or cold email agency with Boston or Cambridge intent, relevance wins, and relevance is earned through specifics. Content that converts. Massachusetts buyers, from research to shortlist. In Massachusetts, content needs to do more than rank. It needs to help a smart buyer make a decision. That means writing for stakeholders who ask hard questions, technical leaders, operations teams, procurement, and executives. Your best performing content usually falls into a few buckets: how it works explainers, implementation guides, compliance regulatory primers, vendor comparison pages, and proof-driven case studies. The biggest content mistake we see is stopping at surface-level definitions. If someone searches a niche query, they're often trying to reduce risk, not just learn a term. A strong page answers what it is, how it's done, how long it takes, what it costs, at least directionally, common pitfalls, and how buyers evaluate vendors, then makes the next step clear without forcing a hard sell. This is also where you can naturally support sales keywords without stuffing. If your content explains your process for lead capture and follow-up, it's reasonable to reference how teams use a cold calling agency, cold calling services, or an outsourced sales team to operationalize demand. The goal isn't to rank for every phrase, It's to align your content with the real conversations your buyers are already having internally. Connecting SEO to SDR execution, turning visibility into meetings. SEO is only done when it changes sales outcomes. The cleanest way to do that is to connect search intent to SDR workflows. Route high-intent form fills fast, build follow-up sequences that reference the exact topic the buyer consumed, and retarget lookalike accounts based on what's performing in organic. When we run outreach as a sales development agency alongside SEO-driven insights, reply rates improve because messaging feels relevant, not random. Operationally, your SDR team should treat organic signals like a priority queue. If a prospect repeatedly visits pages about a specific service line, geography, or integration, that's a reason to tailor outreach immediately. This is where sales outsourcing can be a lever. A specialized outsourced sales team can execute fast follow-up and consistent multi-touch sequences, while your internal team focuses on closing and expansion. We also recommend building SEO to outbound alignment around account lists. If you're seeing traction with Massachusetts life sciences content, for example, that should inform which Cambridge area accounts you target next and how you position your offer. Whether you hire SDRs internally or partner with one of the SDR agencies, the principle stays the same. Use SEO to learn what the market wants, then use Outbound to accelerate conversations. Measurement, optimization, and what sales leaders should actually track. If you measure SEO only by rankings and sessions, you'll miss the point and underinvest right before compounding kicks in. Sales leaders should push for metrics that tie to pipeline, qualified leads by topic, meeting rate by landing page, conversion rate by industry segment, and influenced opportunities. In Massachusetts, where niches are concentrated, you can often see clearer topic-to-revenue patterns than in broader markets. A common optimization mistake is chasing volume at the expense of fit. In Massachusetts, the right keywords can be low volume but high value, especially in biotech, medtech, and specialized professional services. If the page brings in fewer visitors, but those visitors convert into meetings, that's a win worth scaling. Finally, don't ignore conversion rate optimization. Tighten page structure, clarify CTAs, add proof near decision points, and reduce friction on forms. Because even small conversion lifts can meaningfully increase pipeline when search is already delivering a large share of traffic. The goal is to build an engine where SEO attracts qualified interest, and your B2B sales agency motion, internal or outsourced, turns it into revenue. A practical next step plan for Massachusetts B2B teams. If you're starting from scratch, sequence matters. First, fix technical issues that block crawling and indexing. Second, clarify your core service pages so they match how Massachusetts buyers search and evaluate vendors. Third, build a content plan that targets your highest value niches, especially where the state has density, like life sciences and specialized services. If you already have content, shift into expansion and depth. Update pages that rank on page 2, strengthen them with better answers and proof, and build supporting articles that link into your money pages. Then add credibility, Massachusetts case studies, reviews, partner mentions, and the kind of detail that signals real experience to both Google and humans. When you're ready to turn visibility into meetings, connect SEO insights directly to execution. At SalesHive, we often help teams operationalize that handoff with outbound programs, cold email plus calling, so the prospects who find you and the similar accounts who haven't found you yet get consistent follow-up. Whether you're evaluating sales outsourcing, comparing cold calling companies, or looking for an outbound sales agency to complement inbound, the playbook stays the same. Win attention in search, then win the conversation with disciplined SDR follow-through.